All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Conversation with Coach Kevin. I'm your host, Kevin Thornton, life coach and author. And today is a good day for me. I ran across this brother on TikTok. He started running across my FYP page, and I started to watch his content. And each time I watch it, it really resonated with me. 'Cause a lot of times you just scroll and not watch the whole thing, but I will always scroll, see him, and not watch the whole thing. And
Nice.
but I never commented once. But then I maybe like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, he made one that really resonated with what I had to say with how I was feeling. So I had to
Mm,
respond, and I put in there that from a coaching perspective, 'cause I was talking about the life coach, that what he said truly resonated with what I tell my clients, and how he responded to me really confirmed that I needed to talk to him on a one-on-one basis because the humility that he had was like coming from a life coach. You saying what I said
mm-hmm,
is good,
mm-hmm,
made him feel good.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, man. So I said, the humility that this man has, but yet he's telling such great truths that's needed that I want to have that conversation with you. So without further ado, I have Mr. Wolf Taylor to the show. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. I appreciate the intro, man, for sure. Appreciate the intro. And I want to quickly double down on exactly
Thank
what
you,
you
thank
just
you,
said.
thank you.
I want to double down on what you just said, which is like because you a life coach coming from an area of expertise at that point. As soon as you put the title in the beginning, it's a level of expertise, right?
Mhm,
It's like it's another layer of like
mhm,
intention in front of it. And so
mhm,
I'm somebody on the internet sharing things that I think are true, but to have somebody
mhm.
affirm me that has that life coach in front of it, that really means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. You know what I mean? So I felt very, very affirmed. That's like the best validation you could ever receive. Not to minimize anybody else's support, but when it comes from somebody who really in the field and they really got their hands on it doing the work, it's a different type of head nod. It's a different type of respect. So I really that made me feel really good.
Yeah, and I had to do it because I had to salute you because what you said in that conversation was really good and really resonated with me. And I did it intentionally because I wanted your followers to see that I'm a life coach and what you're saying
Hmm.
is true and factual. And
Hmm.
what you said is what I use to talk to my clients. So
Hmm.
take heed to what you were saying because this is what I say and do to my clients. So I
Hmm.
want to affirm and confirm you to your listeners because I see you got a lot of people who watch you. So I
Man,
want them to understand that what you're saying is true and you are the truth. So
thank
yes,
you, bro.
sir.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. So tell everybody who you are and how you get to this point where you start creating content on just what you feel is true and trying to help people in their journey.
Yeah. So, my name is Wolf Taylor. I'm an engineer at a black podcast studio called WTF Media Studios. I'm actually at WTF right now, and I've been in the content industry for about 4 years now. And I also have a podcast of my own called Halfway Up, and I call it that because you're never finished rising. And so it's like another way of saying it's not about the destination, but it's about the journey. And I've
Mhm,
covered topics such as making women feel safe again, outgrowing your friends, extending your parents' grace, and how to get over feeling lonely, and just a couple topics like that. And I'm from Texas. I'll be 32 in a month. I'm from Texas. Came to New York City when I was 26, and yeah, came to New York City when I was 26. And New York City is it's an expensive place, so I came
mhm,
here with the camera because where I was living in Dallas, that's where I'm from, Dallas, Texas. I was getting a little money from my camera, so I figured I can come to New York City and do the same thing. And
mhm,
upon trying to figure out how I would make a living in New York City, I'm working with people, bouncing with people, bouncing with people, some notable people too. It's a guy named Jack Thriller who used to be on this program owned by 50 Cent called This Is 50. I started working with him.
mhm.
I found a connection with this dude named DJ Infamous Amadeus at Shade 45. Shade 45 is where Sway is at. Everybody knows Sway. Like,
Yeah,
how Sway? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I would see Sway every now and then. I'd be at Shade 45 running around and just really just having a camera for hire because we in this content space. And
Mhm,
bouncing from people to people to eventually meeting the owners of the studio.
Mhm.
Before the studio was even created a relationship with them. Then the studio was created. Then I got a job, and then I was working in the content industry for about 3 years before I even decided to start making content because I just couldn't see myself in it. I just felt like it's something like not a person like me would do. But being in the
Mhm.
content industry, you realize like you start to see how you could fit your agenda, and it's much so like yourself, right? It's like you probably see
Mhm.
all type of crazy stuff, and it's like I don't, that's not for me. But then you're like, oh, but I
Yeah.
could use what I do and I could put it into this, and you see where the mecca of the marriage comes from. So in short, that's what it is. Just a kid from Texas, bro, came to New York City. Um, and now I'm here, man, in the content space, just like you, with with a podcast and running my mouth.
So I I can start many different directions with you. One of the things I want to start with is that I have a lot of clients in your age range, right?
Mhm.
And they're in the space where they want to do what you do. They want to create content, um, whether because they are a chef and they want to create their own content to have their own like cooking show to
Uh-huh.
put on social media, or they're looking to be a coach like myself and they want to create content. But what would you say to them to because they sit I tell them it's fear based, but what would you tell them when they're like, oh, they know they got to do it, but they're scared to do it? What would you say to those people who know that content is what the next step for them to become the the best version of themselves in their journey, but they're scared to go in and take that first step?
Man, um, you know, you got to take the first step at some point. I'm not big on. It's funny. I'm not big on rushing people, but I'm huge on urgency at the same time,
Mhm.
right? So,
Right.
I just had a speech a couple of days ago, and I was telling the people, one of the guys who was doing the Q&A, and he was telling me, he was asked me the exact same question. I told him like, hey, bro, take the time that you need, like whether it's going to be today, whether it's going to be next week, whether it's be a month from now, but get your start though, and it's a lot of cliche information that we hear people say, and the older you get, you start to realize people say them things for a reason. You know what I mean? Like consistency, like what I mean, just
Mhm.
start. It's never going to be a perfect time. These things are true. My
Mhm.
first episode of my podcast, I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to it. And I recorded it 3 times. You know what I mean? By the time I released it to the world, it was my third iteration of that. And it still
Mhm.
wasn't up to my standards, especially not now, because the more you do something, the better you get at it, your
Right.
standards. But that had to be done though. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to
Exactly.
the first one to get the second one, to get the third one, the fourth one. It turns to a domino effect. And like this, I
Mhm.
could tell you for a fact, I've always been somebody who's enjoyed communicating. There's
Mhm.
no way I could have got to where I'm at right now if it wasn't for all the steps before. It's just no way. Because
Right.
through the grooming process and you trimming the fat and you getting better and you tweaking and you getting better, and then you become eventually what you know that you're capable of in your mind. So for anybody who's scared, it's like it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be
Mhm.
scared, but don't let fear be the reason why you stop yourself from doing something that you're curious about. Because one thing's for sure, especially like black and brown melanated people, a lot of us grow up in a lower economic status, and so we're very familiar with what settling looks like. Us as black and
Mhm.
brown, we look to our left and our right, we see, and no disrespect, but we see a lot of people who did just that. And maybe you can't even call it settling. Maybe they just didn't even think that highly enough to. Sometimes settling is like I could have did better, but like I'm gonna just not. That's settling. So sometimes maybe they
Right.
didn't settle. But I said it to say, look around you, bro, and look no further. You don't need no more motivation than the people that's to your left and your right. You know what I mean? If you want more, you have to do more. You just have to. And so you get to decide when that is. But hopefully you make the decision though at some point, because time we don't have forever.
Well said. So I did know that you have podcasts, and I did see a couple of your videos,
Yeah.
and one of the ones that resonated with me was the one you said where you have to give your parents grace.
Yes.
And the reason why that resonated with me is because as I coach my clients, that's one of the things they have to realize they have to do
Yeah.
because they go through their traumas and uh, they tend to fault the parents.
Yeah.
You
Happens all
know,
the time.
no- and whether it's rightfully so or whatever, at the end of the day, I tell them release what you have to release, but at the end of the day, you still have to give them grace because you don't know their journey
Hmm.
of what they had to go through and what
Hmm.
they did not know. And so, you know, just give them the grace that they did the best they could with what they knew.
Absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
And, and so, what was your reason for that show? Because I think that show is much needed.
The reason why I did that episode, man, is because at some point I just started to see my parents. I will say that I have witnessed my parents in two. Well, I've witnessed both of my parents. Excuse me. I witnessed my parents in very challenging times of their life. You know, and I witnessed my parents in moments of their life where they couldn't be a superhero anymore. You know what I mean? And it's like when you a kid, your parent is the closest thing to God that you know. You know what I mean? It's the closest thing to authority that you know. They make everything happen for you. They hold the power of telling you what you can do, what you can't do. But then
Mhm.
sometimes you get to a place in your life where, and they never want to, your parent don't never want their kid to ever see you like that. But sometimes life happen in a way where you see them. And hopefully kids take a real good look if they get that opportunity because you realize in those moments that they really are just people.
Mhm.
Um, Even further, they're imperfect people. And so,
Mhm.
just I think that because I saw my parents go through really challenging times, it just made me grow a level of empathy for them. You know what I mean? And also, like, I think one of the things that God just gave me naturally is just empathy and insight. Like I have a lot of insight. It comes more natural to me than it does some other people I have realized. And so through my insight, through vicariously learning, you just kind of realize, like, man, also it's like no funny shit, but it's like, yo, these my parents, these my people. Like these my people. You know what I'm saying? Like I rock with them, they rock with me. I do anything for them. I love them. So that's the least I could do is just extend them grace. And the older you get, you start paying rent, you start paying your bills, and then you start to realize, like, oh my God, like this is tough. You know what I mean? This is tough. Just
Mhm.
Christmas after Christmas. It's first of all, I think holidays are a scam. You know what I mean? When you broke,
Right.
when you poor, holidays is a scam. It's like another Valentine's Day, another Thanksgiving, another Christmas, another birthday, another day. Everything keep rolling into each other, and it's like, how can you ever catch up to it? To
Mhm.
financial stability, that's what it feels like. And then your parents, if they got multiple children, imagine how they feel. It's like
Mhm.
they taking care of all these kids, and then they got to deal with you. They got to work all day. Then they got to get you from school, and then they got to feed you. Make sure you go to do your homework. Make sure you go to sleep on time. Then they got to go to sleep. Probably don't even get a good sleep, and then they got to
Mhm.
wake up earlier than you to wake you up. You don't even want to get up. Now they got to deal with you. It's like I told you to get up. 30 minutes later, you're still in bed. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just a level of just empathy. When I was 12, bro, I remember it hit. I remember where I was in the house that we don't live in no more. I was in the hallway, and it just dawned on me like, "Yeah, I should probably stop disrespecting my mom. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
she make all this shit happen. She make all this
Mhm.
shit happen. And where would I be without her? And my last point that I'm gonna say on it is that it's easy to gain empathy for your parents when you realize that everybody not as blessed as you too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you see some of your friends and some of the shit that they go through, or some of the things that they were allowed to be susceptible to because their parents wasn't protecting them. And then you can just put two and two together and be like, okay, like it's different at my house. Like bro be his mom pick him up from school. She's smoking cigarettes in the car with the windows up with them. It's like it's not like that at my house. You get what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I'm looking at the way they eating. It's like, no, my mom cooking whole meals over here. You get what I'm saying? And so you
Mhm.
start to gain more empathy and realize it's like, oh, life is not fair. Everybody don't got it as good as you got it, no matter how bad you think
Right.
it is. So yeah, that's why I made that episode.
Okay. So one of the things too is I feel like you really big on positivity,
Yeah.
um, empowerment, and one of the things I'm big on is being positive for our community, but also, but more so, our black men. I feel like the black men does not have a space to where they could be heard or feel vulnerable and not be judged.
Yeah.
I feel like through the coaching, especially a lot of men now, I come from a single family household,
Hmm.
and a lot of times the father's not there.
Hmm.
And so, we are expecting these young men to grow up to be men and
Hmm.
to be something that they've never seen before.
Hmm.
Nothing's around them to show them what a man's supposed to be, but we expect them to be that.
Hmm.
What do you say to those men who are going through that journey that is being held to an expectation that they have never seen before, being held to an expectation by women of how they need to treat them, but never seen a man treat a woman in the manner they are expecting. But all this is expected by them,
Yeah.
but never been seen.
Um, I mean, there's just one simple truth about that. If you don't have the luxury of having um, somebody you respect or somebody who's knowledgeable enough to guide you, you get guided by the natural experiences of life, and that's just really it's just that simple. Some people just don't have the like I said, like I'm saying I'm around my other homies and I'm seeing the way their parents are treating them. It's like my parents don't treat me like that, but that's the best they got. You get what I'm saying? So what do you do then? And the real truth is, it's like, man, you just keep living your life. Hopefully, I feel like there's so many opportunities available to us at all times. Like there's things that look good and there's things that is bad. You know what I mean? And sometimes we get enticed by those things. As a young man, sometimes you making real man decisions as a young man, don't even realize it because it's like with nobody there to really put you on the right path, you got to put you on the right path. Or go down the wrong path and learn from that. Because that don't don't nothing teach nobody nothing faster than doing it the wrong way. You get what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And so unfortunately, just having a real world perspective, everybody like I'm very blessed, bro. Like my father is a beautiful man. My mom is a beautiful woman. I grew up with my mom. My dad wasn't there, but I still have that privilege. But if you don't have that, then it's like, well, what are you left to do? And it's like you left to figure it out. You get what I'm saying? So the biggest saving grace, even this next part I'm gonna say, a lot of it comes from being put on, but like, having God has always been my North Star. You know what I mean? When there
Okay.
was times where my parents couldn't be there to guide me through something, or maybe I wasn't going to share something with them out of fear of how they would see it or how they would judge it. It's time where I'm having them conversations between me and God, and hopefully people have that. And if they don't have that, hopefully God works in supernatural ways. So hopefully God is making Himself known to those people because they need that guidance the most. But you just got to figure it out. But chances are, what they say, to whom much is given, much is tested. Like chances are, like the reason why your story is even being built up the way that it is, because there's a lot to be requested upon your life path. You're probably gonna do a lot of good work in this life. And some people figure that out at a pivotal time. And some people, I believe that at some point in life, if you continue doing wrong, there's empathy that got to be extended for that. But then also some of that was choice. I'm saying
Mhm.
some of it, So it's really hard. It's really hard to say because no kid should be put in a position where they don't have proper guidance. But we know, and you know better than anybody, that oftentimes that is the case. So hopefully you learn vicariously through your friends and people you respect. Hopefully.
So you good, you good. And one of the things I would say that was true, the truest thing was that your connection to God or whoever is your source of a higher power,
Right.
to and knowing that He's going to put your life that's going to help you get to where you need to go. That's part of the journey that you're going to be.
Right.
I don't so like I don't think me coming across your FYP was a coincidence. It
Yeah.
was something that God wanted me to see, um, because he know how I operate,
Hmm.
and so he was like, okay. I need to talk to this guy because even though you're doing well on your own, it's like you know, how can I connect with you and use your positivity and mine together for the greater good? You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? And I just think, like you said, if if they don't have that male figure,
Mm-hmm.
then if they connect with God and then ask God to guide them and give them someone that
Mm-hmm.
can show them what's next in their journey and
Yeah.
how to be that person in that journey, then
Yeah.
that would come too. And so what you said was very, very true. You
Yeah.
know, and like you said too, was a lot of times, yes, we do gonna make mistakes. We're gonna have our trials and tribulations, and we gotta give ourselves some grace on that.
Mm-hmm.
But if we continue to do it,
Mm-hmm.
then we can't continue to give yourself grace because now we're
Mm-hmm.
making a choice to do so. And
Yeah.
so now it's like, hey, why do we choose to continue to make the same mistakes over and over again instead of
Right.
just learning the lesson and moving forward and being greater from that situation?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Because they say the law say ignorance is no excuse of the law. And at some point you gotta understand that that's gonna be true for everybody. You know what I mean? Like a
Hmm.
little empathy gotta go to you because it's like I got friends, you know what I mean? Like they didn't grow up with people teaching them certain things, so they don't know certain things. It's just that simple. So you get empathy for that, but at the same time, sometimes life give like instant feedback on stuff, and sometimes you
Hmm.
might make choices, you might do certain things, and they say don't touch like don't touch the stove because it's hot. Like I'm trying to let you know. Sometimes you feel that heat before you touch it, and that heat is a reminder that is wrong. You know what I mean? Like this is not right. So for somebody that like if somebody go to jail for doing something, right? That should be more than enough, you would think, to be like, I'm not going back to jail. You know what I mean? And some people have that reaction. They like, I'm not going back to jail. Like I didn't did certain stuff. Like I didn't been drunk driving before being younger, right? And
Hmm.
made certain mistakes while I was drunk driving. I was like, I would never do this again. I would never because you get scared straight. So at
Hmm.
some point, life should be scaring you straight at some point. You know what I mean? And if you're not getting straight from being scared, then it's like, well, then you okay, bro. Then unfortunately for you, it's gonna take you a little bit more because life's showing you it's an instant feedback. It's like, oh, like this is hot, but you keep trying to touch it though.
Hmm.
Some of us got harder heads than others. My mama always said I'm a consequence driven child. So some of us need to learn a lesson multiple times. You know what I mean? And that's just
Right.
what it is.
So, what is your ultimate goal or your ultimate vision for yourself doing this content creator stuff?
I believe the purpose of life is to pass down information. I think that is the biggest purpose. The biggest purpose of life is passing down information. I don't have children, but one day when I have children, I will be able to instill within my children what took way faster, what took me a lifetime to learn. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm about to
Hmm.
be 32. God willing, I live a whole lot more years around this mug. And everything that took me, I had to become a man to learn. When my
Hmm.
son is here, when my daughter is here, I can instill that inside of them much faster. How they absorb it is how they absorb it, but they don't have to necessarily learn it through their personal life experiences. Now they got what I taught them because your first teacher is your parent. I have what I taught them, and then they can take that and synthesize it with their own experiences. And that's when I think about my podcast. I think like I believe, is that too loud? I'm sorry. I'm on Canal Street for the people listening. Hold on, let me
Oh,
close
okay.
that. Manhattan, New York City. So what was I saying? So I understand that we all are different people. We all got different backgrounds. We all got different setups. Like one of my best friends, man, one of my best friends don't even believe in God, right? But he one of
Hmm.
the dopest people ever. Absolute genius. You know what I mean? He went through some of the hardest times as a kid, like some of the toughest stuff, man, that a kid should never go through. And you got to understand, it's a lot of people in life that just get brought up in like messed up situations and predicaments. And when I call it halfway up, because you're never finished rising, like I don't believe that you're ever really done. You know what I mean? You always in doing pursuit of something. Like my grandma, she 89. but she's still doing something. You know what I mean? She don't got the issues that a 47-year-old woman got. Now she thinking the thoughts of an 89-year-old woman. You know what I mean? She got great
Mhm.
great grandchildren. You know, so it's like you're never done. And what we all should be doing is see what the good people do, no matter what color you is, no matter where on this earth you at, what the good people do is they take their influence and they try to use it to make the world better. And that's really what it's about. You get what I'm saying? It's like, what can I do? Like, if a young black, I want a young black man or any young man to see me and think I'm cool, or think like, oh, like look how he doing it. Like, oh, he got, so I want you to be, I want this to rub off. You know what I mean? I want to make this look sexy to attract you to come here, and then maybe you can learn something that you need to learn. You know what I mean? Like the whole concept of my pod, like I try to cover evergreen topics because even though I understand there's a big benefit from using things that are trending, because it's like it's in the algorithm, you can hop on it real quick, you can get that large audience that happen to be tapped in searching into that topic at the moment. But when you go about evergreen topics, it's a slow cook. It's definitely a slow build. But the thing is like I
Mhm.
know for a fact extending your parents' grace gonna be relatable 5 years from now. I know that.
Absolutely.
I'm saying I
Yeah.
know that outgrowing your friends gonna be relatable 10 years from now. You get what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so that's my contribution to the world. And I hope to continue to scale my personal brand, and that the more people find me, the more people find the messages that they probably need. Because them people who don't got a Coach Kevin in their life, or their parents ain't shit, or they brothers or they homies ain't shit, or whatever it is, like they could run across my content. Like, bro, like I didn't been in so many positions in my life where I had to sleep on the floor. I had to I had to make a little cottage for myself in the corner of something or something. You know what I mean? And sometimes all the kid got is that phone, man. Sometimes that's all
Right.
they got, that phone. They don't got nothing else but that phone, bro. Like you don't even know what their house looking like. House probably look crazy. Environment probably trash. Could be homeless technically. You know what I'm saying? Like I was
Mhm.
technically, I was never sleeping on the streets. Me and my family have experienced being homeless before. We don't have a home to call our own. It's not our thing. And so
Mhm.
the same way J. Cole as a rapper, or Nas as a rapper, or Jay-Z as a rapper, like I would listen to them and they would give me little insights that made me feel like I know I could take that. Those are coordinates.
Mhm.
I want to be that for some kid. You know what I mean? I want him to listen through this and be like, bro, I'm getting a level of knowledge and wisdom that I don't got no big bros to give me. Like my daddy he not here. My daddy don't love us enough to be here right now. He wherever he at, or he in jail or whatever. But you can get that from me. What it is that I can give you. You know what I mean? So that's a long way of just saying, yeah, I just want to help, bro. I just want to help. And I'm still figuring out what that actually looks like, me helping. But as of right now, I'm just talking, and that's what it looked like right now.
But right now, how you talking uh is attracting the right people to you.
Thank you.
And I'll say is you're not trying, you are doing it.
Thank
I
you.
feel and the right people who need to see you are seeing you.
Thank you.
Um, and that's just what it is. And I believe that for you is a lot more coming uh your way.
Thank you.
The reason why I feel that way is your true authenticity, and your true vulnerability is something that's needed, but you make it cool because you will cuss a little bit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that
Hmm.
draws in the younger crowd as well. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you seem like just a regular dude,
And that's intentional.
but very much so.
Hmm.
And um, but with that, you attract them with your lingo,
Hmm.
and you keep them, but what your words are saying to them.
Absolutely. That's intentional.
And and you know that is needed. You know, so it's a lane, and I think for me, there's a lane for all of us
Yeah.
who are who are trying to be a light in the midst of all this darkness.
Absolutely.
So, and I could tell you could say you're trying, but you are a light,
Thank you,
a,
man.
a vessel, and you being intentional with your vessel, being a light,
Yeah.
and just know you're not trying, that you're doing it.
Thank you,
I
man.
want to validate that because trying is setting yourself up for failure. you are doing it.
Yeah,
You,
thank you, man.
you might not be where you want to be at this present moment, but you're doing it. And you know, because if I look forward to seeing your content, that means you're doing some great stuff. Because I don't watch everybody's stuff, but
Yeah,
I look forward to seeing yours come across my FYP.
yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, man. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, because and are you an empath?
Maybe. I hear that. I hear that. I'm super familiar with the word, but I don't think I've ever
Hmm.
just had a moment to just break down what it means. I think I get it through
Hmm.
context, what it means. Somebody who is like a sensitivity to emotions, feeling.
That's why that's the energy I get from you.
Hmm.
And so my question for you is, as much as but this is the question people ask me a lot.
Hmm.
So the type of man that you are pouring out this positivity, this love to the masses through your content, and who's there for you when you need somebody to be there for you?
That's a good question. The first person I'm gonna say is my mom is my best friend in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? My mom is a really great woman. She's a really strong communicator.
Mm,
And me and my mom have had a lot of really insightful, strong conversations. We've conversated about a lot of things, you know what I mean? And so if there's ever a time where I need somebody to talk to and I really need a perspective, I'm gonna talk to my mom, you know what I mean? Because my mom is like, one thing about her, she always kept it real with me, always. You know what I mean? She never gave me we don't got that type of relationship where she shielded her truth from me because I'm a kid and she's an adult. It's like maybe she did it in like where it mattered at where I was at that age.
mhm,
But my mom has always been somebody I could go to. But also, I'm gonna be honest with you. Something that I'm constantly dealing with and constantly finding my way through is trying to open myself up more to the idea of bringing people in because it's like I'm gonna keep a lot of it to myself. Whatever it is I'm going through, I'm gonna tuck it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tuck it. I'm gonna hold it. And I've experienced that all the way to it looking bad. Like I've been in a relationship before, and then
mhm,
it's like whenever you pop, it's like it all come out at the same time, and then it's like
yeah,
it's taking me relationships where girls will be like, "Why every time we get into an argument, it gets so crazy?" You know what I mean? And it's like taking that and needing to hear that to understand, like it's because it be so. It's like the response didn't even warrant the reaction. You know what I'm saying? Or
mhm,
like it didn't even warrant that. You know what I mean? But it's like because you holding it all. So as soon as you do a little pick, it's like everything comes splashing out. And so that's definitely something that I have been working through. And but it's an interesting place in my life because I'm in a place in my life where I really value the title of friendship. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And I don't believe I'm not just gonna call anybody a friend. You know what I mean? I'm
mhm,
not like I could respect you from like a acquaintance level. I wouldn't do nothing to disrespect nobody and none of that. But to call it
mhm,
to friend and family really no different to me. It's no distinguish between that. So because I wouldn't say I have a lot of friends, though
mhm,
I know a whole lot of people. I know a whole lot of people, and some people might hear this and be like, "Dang, like I wonder if bro think I'm his friend or not." Because I'm I'm privileged to know a lot of people. So in a lot of ways, you could say I got a lot of friends, but like when it comes to people that I'm gonna talk to though, because when it
mhm.
comes to me deciding if I need to talk, I'll be like, I'm gonna tuck this one. You know what I mean? So
Right.
in a lot of ways, I'm still looking for God to send me um new people in my life that fit that fulfill that area for me.
Mhm. Now,
Yeah.
are you open to it?
Yeah, I am open to it. I definitely am open to it. I just think genuinely a lot of people don't. And I'm telling you, this is some stuff I got to work through, bro, for real. But a
Mhm,
lot of people don't have my respect enough to even like care how they feel about the situation, or I might look at how they live their life and might be like, "What you gonna tell me?" You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not all the way good either, because like,
Mm-hmm.
and these are things that I've had to unlearn. But like, so once upon a time, right, I was all about like work hard, work hard, work hard, right? Like a lot of young men are. And when I seen that a lot of my friends wasn't having the same work ethic, I
Mm-hmm.
I I disassociated myself from them completely, because I was just like, y'all want to play games, and I'm super serious about my life. Up until the point that you know, even New York, even coming from Texas to New York City, like I'm in New York City, and it's like, okay, like your work is showing off in dividends, it's showing off in certain ways. But then you realize, like, well, damn, like I might not have had to cut off my homie just because he ain't want to work as hard as me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe I can just appreciate and love my friend for what I actually appreciated and loved them for. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they
Mm-hmm.
like they're not gonna work as hard as me, but we still used to be able to laugh though. You get what I'm saying? And it's
Right.
like understanding that maybe our relationship can't fit all these things, but it did fit that one thing once upon a time,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be any deeper than that.
Right.
And so that's me kind of unlearning. You know, as they say, like trauma and survival, living in the survivor's mentality, sometimes it'll get you far up to the point that it don't serve you no more. And then it's
Exactly.
like, well, now you need some friends, bro. You know what I mean? Now you need some people you can
Mm-hmm.
holler at. And it's like, so I'm in that place. And though there are some people that I've met, even in New York City, that I would consider to be friends, sometimes I still find myself operating within them same patterns of like, I'm not gonna reach out. You know what I mean? It's something I
Mm-hmm.
got to work through.
And I think that is what the listeners need to hear because even though you give great content, and you are speaking great truth, people got to understand too. You still a human being,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and in that humanity, you still are, like you said, halfway up. You still work in progress.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of times too, when we have the titles of the life coach, everything like that, they still feel to realize too, I'm still a man of progress.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, even though I have the tools to help myself, in my journey, I'm still a work in progress. I'm not gonna always get it right every time, you
100%.
know, and you're not gonna get it right every time either. But I think just the fact that you were vulnerable enough to say this is what I need to work on for myself,
Hmm.
and that I had, you know, you know, my trauma is the catalyst to this, and I'm
Hmm.
working my way through it. That just gives the listeners and the viewers say, okay, if these two brothers, who we respect through their content and all type of stuff like that, they're still works in progress.
Hmm.
Then we need to give ourselves grace on who we are and
Hmm.
where we at in our current lives because if they're still working through them, become a better version of themselves, and we see them at this level,
Hmm.
and they still feel like they got more work for them to do, then
Hmm.
who are we to say that we're not where we're supposed to be at? And
Yeah.
so I just think that transparency and that humility for that answer is going to help more people than what you think you know.
Yeah. I appreciate that, bro. Also, like one thing I've learned about life is that, everybody genuinely has something to offer. It's like it's easy to get caught up in the way we've been conditioned, right? So the way we even like with the current status of how we use social media today. We have these things, we have influencers, and we have these people who position themselves. And I don't say that like they're doing it with malice, but they position themselves like they are the experts in a situation, or they
Mhm.
just know all. And the real truth is that like, you know, I could meet, I'm 32, bro. I could meet a 19-year-old who don't struggle with the thing that I struggle with. And they probably,
Mhm.
the thing that I struggle with, they probably do it really well, way better than I do. You get what I'm saying? And that's one thing that I'm constantly being reminded about in life is that understanding that like we genuinely all could teach each other. Sure, like the older you're becoming, you should be becoming better, and maybe even in a lot of senses you should have more to teach because of your experience, but also making space to understand that while I do think that I'm an insightful person and I do think that I'm a wise person, because that's just something that comes natural to me, right? Like I'm a fan of those things intrigue me. But
Hmm.
also, it's like there are things that while somebody might not have that part of their life figured out, they might the community part of them though. They'd be like, oh, like when I need help, I'm gonna go talk to somebody. You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
got like some people might be better at making friends than me,
Hmm.
or you get what I'm saying. So it's like it's important for people to understand while you might be looking to somebody, whether that's somebody else or us, or it might be like a
Right.
19 Keys, or it might be a Dr. Umar Johnson, or it might be
Hmm.
a Tariq Nasheed, or whoever it is that you're a fan of. Like, understand, like I just covered this on my last pod. It's like nobody is outperforming you in every box in life. Nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you could look at Jay-Z, right? Or whoever it is you inspire, might don't matter. They killing life, right? Killing life. Will Smith, Obama killing life. I promise you, there's a box in life that you do that thing way better than they do at it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So keep that in mind and understanding we all got something to show and we got something to teach. And if there's ever a time where somebody try to make it seem like you don't, then you can just
Right.
be comfortable understanding that that's manipulation in itself right there.
Hmm. And see, my dad, said, regardless of how old he is, he's always going to be open to learn. And if he came across your your content and you said something to him, said something that he agreed with,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to acknowledge it because it's not. And even if it's something that he might never even thought about, but the way you positioned it made him
Mm-hmm.
think about it and resonate with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to say, "I'm not going to agree with him because he's younger than me."
Right.
He's going to be like, this young brother, got some sense to him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he's gonna say he taught me something, and then he
Mm-hmm.
will tell somebody, yeah, so and so, I saw him on TikTok. He taught me X, Y, and Z,
Mm-hmm.
and and like you said, you got the people who may limit themselves to receiving information from other people based on, they might be younger than them or they might not be on the same level as them,
Mm-hmm.
but you never know who God is using to talk to you. And
Yeah.
in that particular time, let's say you spoke to me, you spoke to me, and I stay open to the fact that okay, this he ain't no therapist, he ain't no life coach,
Right.
because people, yeah, but he's just a human speaking his truth,
Right.
and the truth that he's speaking is accurate.
You're right. That's so good. Yeah. Because that the example of what we're talking about is happening right now. Because you could
Hmm.
totally be like, he don't got the credentials though. You could totally be
Hmm.
like that. A lot of academic people are like that.
Hmm.
So you could totally be like that. It's like he don't got the credentials. He ain't go through the channels. He ain't go through the proper. But you didn't though. You embraced me, and it's like, yo, like I like what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like based off of what I
Hmm.
know, some of them things can be very helpful and productive. And it's like, yo,
Absolutely.
that's why I said, like, yo, that mean a lot to me that you said that. That mean a lot.
I appreciate that. But for me, because as I watched you, I could see the empath in you.
Mm,
So you connected to the people's spirits, and so that energy comes out automatically on you.
mm,
And I think that's one of the reasons why people gravitate to you because you feel how they feel,
yeah,
and you express it in a way for them to receive it, and you know that is something that draws me.
yeah.
I'm a spirit dude, and
Mm-hmm,
so how you present yourself on on your content draws people to you because we can feel your energy
mm-hmm,
through the content,
mm-hmm,
and from there, and then from that, you tell them the truth.
mm-hmm.
It makes people say, "Okay, I need more of this
Yeah,
from him."
yeah,
Nobody probably never explained it to you in that manner,
yeah.
but this is
Definitely
what
have
this is
not.
this is part of the reason why people are gravitating to you, especially
Yeah,
the women,
yeah.
because the women tend to be more of an empath than men a lot of times. I am an
100%.
empath as well, but
100%.
so your energy that you're putting out and your spirit gravitates to them.
Yeah.
And so then the way you present your information to them, you know, you still cool, but you still a loving dude at the same time. It's a great mesh
Mhm.
of being that dude that's from the streets,
Mhm.
but has that loving personality to
Mhm.
where he's able to get people to receive the love that you're trying to give them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And and that's what brings everybody to you,
Mhm.
male and female. 'Cause at the end of the day, men needs to be heard and seen and loved at the same time. And
100%.
so if I could say as this brother is, I can feel his energy and I know what he's saying is authentic, but also he's teaching me something. I need more of that.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing,
so,
bro. Thank you.
so that's where you're at, and so that's your gift. And all you have to do is just continue to navigate that gift, and you're going to teach, and you're going to reach the masses
Thank you.
because you got that 1-2
Yeah.
of the street dude
Mhm.
that can still get with everybody that's in the streets,
Mhm.
but the knowledge
Mhm.
of the intellectuals,
Mhm.
but the love and spirit that everybody needs. That's a great 1, 2, 3 punch.
Yeah.
And so I want you just to embrace that because that's a that's a skill and a gift that everybody don't have.
Yeah. I really appreciate that a lot, bro. Like a lot. Thank you. And
Mhm.
I want to just add some context to what you're saying. Like, you know, I grew up, both of my parents are Christians. My father come from a long line of pastors, long line. You know what I'm saying? My dad got five brothers. Him and his twin brother is the only ones that's not pastors. Everybody else pastors. My grandfather was a pastor. My mom is like has like a supernatural relationship with God, right? Supernatural. So, but also because of our shortcomings in life, you know what I mean? Um, you know, we lived in certain neighborhoods and certain environments where maybe that love wasn't as proliferated like it was in my house. You know what I mean? Like outside of it, it's like it's a whole different type of stuff going on.
Mhm.
And so I really, you know, it's just so funny. You know, God really is no such thing as coincidence. Like you said a moment ago, it's like it's no coincidence that we cross paths. And my mom tell me all the time, there's no such thing as coincidence. And you know, though some of those times was hard, and I know it was really hard for my mom because I think in a lot of cases she felt like I'm supposed to protect and provide for my children, and yet I can't protect them from everything. You know what I mean? Because of just the reality of what's going on. But I thank God for not allowing those moments and those experiences to be in vain because what ended up happening was even though I came from like an environment where like I'm first service, second service, Wednesday, Thursday, you know what I'm saying? But also I got to see in real life like what my friends was going through though. And
Mhm.
like I said, one of my best friends, he don't even believe in God. But sometimes I ask myself, like, man, if I grew up like you, I probably wouldn't believe in God either. You know what I'm saying? If I grew
Mhm.
up like if I went through the things that you went through. And so there's an empathy that I learned on my way to becoming from a boy to a man and still becoming, right? There's an empathy that I gained in realizing that it's certain people, bro, they don't got the luxury to know God the way I know God. You get what I'm saying? Like, I got my own relationship with God now, but like because I was in that church and because I was around certain people, my father, he reading that word. My mom, she reading that word all the time. That's just their style. You know what I mean? That's just their style.
Mhm.
And so there's a privilege that comes from that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And not to say that you got to be doing all that to have a relationship with God because you absolutely
Mhm.
do not. That's more leaning on the religion side. But my point being is like I met a lot of people along the way who has no connection to none of that. You get what I'm saying? And so I think about them when I present myself in a certain kind of way. I keep them in mind. You know what I mean? Because it's like they the people who I don't know if I'm gonna say they need it the most, but they need it just as much though. You get what I'm saying? They need it just as much. And so for all them kids and all them people, but I like when I really, man, I really do it for that kid that's somewhere like in a neighborhood where everybody smoking black and milds every day, drinking 211s, just you know what I mean? It's that mentality, that ecosystem. You get what I'm saying? And it's like that type of stuff can keep you. It could sometimes. I remember being in certain neighborhoods. I thank God for my heart, bro, for real. But I remember being in certain neighborhoods and being like, damn, bro, like I totally see why people get stuck living like this. I totally see it
Mhm.
because like maybe at some point, um, they say it take like 21 days to break a habit or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like if you stand in that environment for a certain amount of time, you could have the intentions to want more, but after a while, it's easy to kind of just assimilate a little bit. It's kind of
Yeah.
natural. It's kind of natural, and so I would hope and pray that when I present myself, I don't want them because sometimes what young people do is they write you off immediately because they think you don't understand. They be like, you don't get it. From the shoes to the outfit to the you don't get it. You don't get it. And that's their ignorance. They so ignorant.
Right.
Ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? So they so
Mhm.
ignorant that they would do something so foolish as that. But understand a kid can only operate within what they know. And so I understand that. And so my intention is to get you to understand like you might write me off still, you know what I mean? But some people not. And hopefully I can get them to come in and they can realize, like, bro, not only do I understand you, I want better for you. How about that?
Mhm.
I mean, not only do I get it, I want you to get more. You get what I'm saying? And maybe the people around you don't got they because they sick too. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
the empathy, right? Because they sick too, man. Maybe they don't have it within themselves to give you what you need, but I get it though. You know what I mean? So I say all that to say thank you for um acknowledging that and thank you for affirming that within me. You know what I mean? Because a lot of time when you chasing something in life, it can be lonely. These are lonely roads when you're trying to pursue greatness. Sometimes
When
you do.
you
So go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
when you in your purpose, it's a lonely journey because
Hmm.
everybody not gonna understand what you doing, why you
Yeah,
doing it, why you going at it so hard. You
yeah.
know, then like you said, one of your episodes, you lose friends
Hmm.
because in the journey of your purpose, you tend to constantly grow, and as you
Hmm.
constantly grow, you are no longer in alignment with some of your friends, and
Yes.
and you gotta be okay with that as well, and
Hmm.
understanding that you gotta drop some friends off because he has some other people waiting for you that's gonna be in alignment with you to go help you to where you want to go next.
Come on.
You
Facts.
know what I'm saying? And
Facts.
so, um, and you gotta be okay with that.
Hmm.
And so what you do, what I do, is not for the weak.
Yeah,
You know, it takes a certain amount of spiritual and emotional strength to do what
absolutely.
we do because we can't make every set that our friends have. We
Hmm.
can't, and like you said, we lose certain people because they no longer fit where what we're trying to become, and we gotta be able to be okay with that. And then that tends to make us be alone a lot more. But in that, it forces us to learn to teach to love ourselves a lot more because now we gotta be able to love our own time and space because we are going to be alone a lot because we got so much we're trying to do and achieve because we know that we both are on an assignment
Hmm.
and we got to fulfill that assignment. And so, but also know that that one young lady is going to come who's going to help you
Hmm.
uh, in that journey for
Hmm.
your assignment. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. And so I think as we start to have the conversation, I knew part of my assignment today for the conversation
Hmm.
was to continue to affirm you
Thank you, man.
because um, as I listened to you talk, I felt the spirit telling me that he needs affirmation as well
Mm.
because he's on this journey and he needs to be fed and let people know that he's doing an amazing job. but also be fed to let you understand, I get how you become who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I get how you're drawing the people to you. And I
Mm-hmm.
want you to understand this is your super gift that he has given you. So you want you to nurture it and cultivate it the best way you know how,
Yeah.
because um, he has a lot in store for you.
Yeah. Thank you, man. For real.
Yes, sir. So before I end it with you, what's your parting words you want to tell the audience?
Um, Parting words, man. Listen to your intuition all the way through, all the time, all the time. Listen to your intuition all the time. You know what I mean? It might not make sense right now, but one day it will. Listen to your intuition. Find you something to be passionate about. Find you something to be passionate about for real. Like, and maybe you don't know right now, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Anything you don't know, I want you to know it's okay. Don't let nobody make you think you're doing wrong because you don't know. You don't know. You know what I mean? So, but find you something to be passionate about because you need to have a sense of a direction in life. You need to have an understanding. Like today, I'm getting up, and this is what I'm doing with my time. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Um, Understand. I could run down all the things that I covered in my speech. Understand you got to make the most of what you have at all times. It's two type of people in this world, and it's only two. It's only two. Now you can become one of the other people at any day. You know what I mean? But it's only two type of people. It's people who make the most of what they have, and it's people who tell you why they can't do it. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? And like I said, look no further than your left and your right, and you will see a bunch of people. Too many examples of people who gonna tell you why they couldn't do right. But me,
mhm,
because of the things that I have experienced, and because I witnessed my parents lose their superhero card early. You know what I mean? I realized that like, oh no, it's we need resources. You know what I'm saying? And we need
mhm,
resources, not to say that life become perfect, but so we don't got to go through this again. You get what I'm saying? Because like, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean? And the way you get that a lot of the time is through your purpose and resource. I say resources specifically because it don't necessarily got to be just money, right? But it's like whatever it is that you need to get that. And you're gonna definitely find that when you find something to be passionate about. But the first thing you do is you make the most of what you have. The second thing you understand is that energy will take you places that skill won't. This is America. Let me tell you something. Like once upon a time, they told you that you got to have a college degree to see any type of paper in life or any type of
mhm,
progress in life. And depending on what you got going on, that can still be true. But also understand that like the life university, it can take you places. Don't worry about what you won't get because of an education. Though everybody should be educated though, and you should get an education. Everybody should do the knowledge. You know what I mean? Seek the knowledge. Shout out to the Grits and Eggs podcast. They talk about that all the time. Do the knowledge, but understand that when you make the most of what you have, it'll take you places in life. Like man, like I dropped out of school. I flunked out of school, right? Because it was hard for me, and I was trying hard to do good in school, but it was difficult for me to really get a hang of it. But what I ended up doing is I ended up deciding like I took the entrepreneurial path, and it's like being a detective, like following the clues and using your intuition to be your north star, allowing that to be your compass. You know what I mean? It's like so you might be in a situation in your life, you might look around, everybody broke. You know what I mean? And you just like, how am I gonna get out of this? You start by following your intuition, find something to be passionate about, making the most of what you have. Understanding energy will take you places that skill won't. It's a lot of people who way more deserving to be in this job, in this position I'm in now. I meet people all the time. Dudes who done went to college for this, dudes who know all the technical skill and all the knowledge, but we in the same room.
mhm.
I can't tell you nothing else. I could tell you that like they went to college and I went through figuring it out and we in the same room. You know what I mean? And life is fair in that way sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can get to where you're trying to go. Energy will take you places skill won't. And you know, stay away from people who don't want no good for their life. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll come around later in life and they'll wise up. But if they don't want no good, they ain't gonna do no good for you. You know what I mean? I promise you. And like young people be young, bro. I look back on my life, bro. sometimes I look back on my life and I just think like, man, shut up, man. Thank God I made it to where I'm at right now. Cause that's not, I was never a bad kid, but some of my homies was into some shit, you know? And it's
Right.
like, I could have easily. It's like what day? Like it could have easily got swept up in some of that shit, man. Easily. And so kids be in danger, bro. They be in dangerous situations because they just don't know no better. And sometimes the people they feel the most comfortable around be people who into some to some tough stuff, but they accepted them though. Be like when you're young,
Hmm.
acceptance is everything.
Right.
But sometimes you get the easiest acceptance from people who not gonna go far in life, and it's tough. But it's just understand that though, and that don't mean you gotta love them less, but you gotta limit your involvement with them people because you
Hmm.
can't get caught up in some shit just being
Yeah.
associated with people for sure.
Yeah.
Ignorance is no excuse of the law, bro. You know what I mean? If you don't understand that now, I promise you one day you will, whether you watching it be real or whether you experiencing it be real for yourself. So those are the things I would say, man. Those are the things I would say. I genuinely want the best for people, especially young men. I also aspire to like give young men a sense of direction. And so just understand like and also understand that like, you know, it took me it took me until about I was about 30 to realize like being in survival mode was it was good for me for a while because it gave me the inspiration to really manifest my a change in my life. I didn't know wasn't nobody around me hopping up from where they from and moving to a new city. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I got a creative job. I get paid to do creative stuff. Like I'm in a podcast studio. Where I'm from, people like they be happy if they get the call center job, you know what I mean? Or they be happy if they get the factory job or whatever job, you know what I mean? And like now, like man, I'm just so blessed, but that only comes from taking that risk and understanding that you know, you don't gotta have all the answers, but trust and believe if you stay away from people who here to distract you and you keep putting your best foot forward, it could man, this life can get nice, bro. This life can get nice for you, man. And everybody's I could have never predicted this for myself. Never. I came to New York City thinking I was gonna be doing something completely different. And God was like, I got something you don't even know.
Right.
I got something for you though. And sometimes, man, sometimes I leave my apartment, bro. And I just one day I left my apartment and I just cried, bro. I was just before I left, I looked at my apartment and I just cried, bro. Cause I was like, man, God done bless me, bro. Like I ain't even
Hmm.
asked for all this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rich, but no, I'm not rich at all. I got just enough to get by in this big city, but I'm proud of that though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I want all the young people to know this life can get real nice. It can get real nice. It can get real sexy. I promise you. But you got to keep making intentional steps, and it's gonna get nice.
Good job. I want to say thank you for being on the show.
Yeah,
You were more than what I expected you was going to be.
nice.
Your
So,
authenticity was, what I expected, but you took it to a whole another level. I hope um, the listeners are able to receive, everything that you said today. Receive our conversation. I believe, he has hand on this as well,
mhm.
based on the conversation I had with you. Um, but I know great things coming to you and for you.
Thank you, man, for
And
real.
I'm looking forward to continue to watch you in your journey. However I can help you in your journey, I'm here for you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Um, so to the listeners, thank you for listening to another episode. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Mhm,
And until next week, we say peace. You stay right there. And we
mhm.
say peace.
Hey, also, if you ever in